interesting times.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision-making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back to ASEAN in Focus. And as we heard there from our breaking news, Philippine President Duterte has accepted the ruling party's vice presidential endorsement, solidifying his bid to stay in the top government post once his term ends next year. And he agreed to run, according to Mr. Nograles, he agreed to run due to popular calls within the PDP laban for him to seek the second highest post, which is the vice president post. And now to Indonesia, where ex-social affairs minister was jailed for 12 years on Monday after being convicted of taking $1.2 million in bribes linked to food aid for poor families hit by the coronavirus pandemic. A Jakarta court handed out a stiff sentence to Juliari Batubara following his December arrest and a sting operation that turned up suitcases, backpacks, and envelopes stuffed with cash. The court sentences the defendant to 12 years in prison and orders him to pay 500 million rupiah or $35,000 in fines or serve 6 more months in prison, according to presiding judge Muhammad Damis in the hearing, which was held virtually for virus safety reasons. The court said the former politician was also ordered to pay the equivalent of about $1 million in restitution or face an additional 2 years in prison. The court heard earlier that Batubara would take cash from 2 contractors hired to supply basic food packages for Indonesians hit hard by the health crisis. President Joko Widodo vowed not to protect corrupt officials in the wake of Batubara's arrest and described the stolen funds as the people's money. Graft remains a big problem in Indonesia, where politicians are widely seen as among the most corrupt. In other news, an American woman convicted with her boyfriend of killing her mother and stuffing the body in a suitcase at a luxury Bali hotel is to be freed from prison early, according to her lawyer. In 2015, teenager Heather Mack was handed a 10-year jail term, while her boyfriend Tommy Schaefer got 18 years for the murder of Chicago socialite Sheila Von Weiss Mack on the Indonesian holiday island. Schaefer beat the 62-year-old victim to death with a fruit bowl during a heated argument at the 5-star St. Regis resort before the couple abandoned the suitcase containing the battered body in a taxi and then fled. Mack, who was pregnant at the time of the crime, was found guilty on a lesser charge of assisting in the murder. The woman, now 25, was set to be released from Bali's Kerobokan prison in October, about 3 years early, according to her lawyer, citing sentence reductions due to good behavior. Her sentence will be completed in October, and then she'll be completely free, according to Julius Benjamin Saran, without giving a specific release date. Mack, who was at the time 19 years old of her conviction, would face deportation back to the U.S. following her release, according to the lawyer. But she wanted to stay in Indonesia to care for her 6-year-old daughter, who was being raised in a Bali foster home.
Now let's go over to Cambodia, where the number of confirmed Delta variant cases in the country has so far reached nearly 1,000, causing concern among governments and the World Health Organization or WHO officials. From August 19 to 21, the Ministry of Health recorded 241 cases, bringing the tally to 999 since it was first detected on March 31. In a press statement on August 22, the ministry said Delta has been found in the capital and 22 provinces with the exceptions of Kep and Kratie. While some of the cases were found on airline passengers and Cambodian migrant workers returning from Thailand and Vietnam, there have also been a large number of infected people who had no known outside contacts indicating community transmission. On August 19, the government lifted some of the restrictive measures it had imposed for 21 days prior across the country in a bid to prevent the spread of Delta, though the government authorized individuals, provinces, determine and enforce their own measures. The health ministry said it was still deeply concerned about the spread of Delta, especially given the numbers that have been officially found through testing.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health today reported 410 new COVID cases, 132 of which were imported. The ministry also reported 16 new deaths and 537 recoveries. As of August 23, Cambodia had recorded a total of 89,641 COVID cases with 85,618 recoveries and 1,808 fatalities. Cambodia began a rollout of COVID-19 vaccinations for teenagers in its capital Phnom Penh and 3 other provinces. The kingdom began vaccinating children between the ages of 12 to 17, starting the campaign in its capital Phnom Penh, as well as in the 3 hardest-hit provinces of Kandal, Koh Kong, and Preah Sihanouk. While Cambodia appeared to have escaped the brunt of the virus last year, an outbreak first detected in February has steadily driven up the caseload.
Going back to the Philippines, DOH confirms that there is Delta variant community transmission in the NCR and Calabarzon. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said that currently the DOH is seeing and has noted the clustering of COVID cases in NCR and Region 4A. However, Vergere stressed they still need evidence to officially confirm community transmission. Let's take a look.
So currently, we have seen and observed, no, especially in NCR and Region 4A, na talagang mukhang community transmission na ito. Nakita natin na wala ng link ang mga kaso sa bawat isa. We are seeing clustering of cases in these 2 big regions. Kaya iyan po ay isang bagay na pinagtutuunan natin ng pansin sa ngayon. So again, let me just reiterate that the Department of Health, together with the whole of government, has been acting as if there is already community transmission from the start. We cannot make it na tinitignan natin in totality ang lahat ng regions kasi meron naman din mga ibang lugar pa rin dito sa ating bansa. Wala pa nung level ng community transmission, local transmission pa lang siya. But definitely, I can tell all of you, Region 4A and NCR na andyan na po, no? We can observe that already, although we need further evidence, but there is community transmission already in these areas.
The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, has approved the Emergency Use Authorization, or EUA, for the single-shot Sputnik Light from Russia, according to National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. Now, Secretary Galvez said the approval of the Sputnik Light, a variation of the 2-dose Sputnik V jab, could hasten the country's vaccination drive toward achieving population protection by the end of the year. Take a look.
And I would like to announce that the EUA for Sputnik 5, na Sputnik Light, na 1 dose na siya, ay na-approvean na po ng FDA. And if we will follow up yung more or less 10 million natin na doses, it will become tinatawag natin 10 million treatments, meaning 10 million na tao ang makikinabang nito ng full protection. Considering that yung Sputnik Light is 1 dose na siya. Para siyang parang yung Gamaleya Sputnik Light is like Johnson & Johnson, that it has higher efficacy, considering na na siya, parang single dose na, parang Johnson & Johnson.
All right, thank you.
Sputnik Light immediately provides protection in its recipients against COVID-19 with a single dose compared to Gamaleya's other vaccine product, Sputnik V, which requires 2 doses to achieve a similar effect. Secretary Galvez said they would follow their order for the delivery of 19 million more doses of Sputnik Light. And as demonstrated by the real-world vaccination data in several countries, Sputnik Light is safe and highly effective. Data from the Ministry of Health of the Buenos Aires province of Argentina showed it has 78.6 to 83.7% efficacy among the elderly, while the Ministry of Health in Paraguay said it is 93.5% effective.
The Quezon City government is allowing construction activities of essential projects during the Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, or MECQ, until August 31. A guideline posted by QC government on Monday listed essential public and private construction projects allowed in the city include projects that will address the COVID-19 pandemic. The list includes health, quarantine or isolation facilities for close contact exposure, suspect and probable cases, and confirmed COVID-19 patients, facilities for the health sector workers and vaccination centers, or facilities or infrastructure projects necessary for supply and distribution and administration of vaccines. The city government also allows construction workers for emergency and disaster risk situations. The city government included the list of essential projects, educational facilities, and government structure offices and buildings, as well as sewerage projects such as water service facilities.
A total of 104 new coronavirus cases were detected in the past 24 hours, raising the cumulative number of active cases to 1,432. This is Monday. The Health Ministry has cleared its backlog of COVID-19 swab samples and is now expected to report overnight cases after expanding its testing capacity from over 2,000 to 8,000 tests a day. This is in Brunei. Health authorities in Brunei said they had hoped that timely test results would provide a clearer indication of Brunei's infection trend and better manage its most serious outbreak yet. 70 of the new cases announced on Monday have not been linked to any of the 28 active clusters. Since the second COVID-19 wave began over 2 weeks ago, the ministry has yet to ascertain the source of 554 infections, or 36.1% of the total cases. Among the new cases, 5 were linked to the mall cluster, which has a total of 39 infections. During the COVID press briefing, Health Minister YB Datoseri Setia, Dr. H.J. Mohammed Esham H.J. Jaafar, also announced that a COVID-19 patient case, 1379, died of heart failure. However, this 56-year-old man's death is not classified as a coronavirus-related death.
Meanwhile, the Chinese Military and Red Cross Society of China, or RCSC, have donated 600,000 Sinopharm vaccine doses to assist the kingdom in its ongoing fight against COVID-19. The majority of the donation consists of 500,000 doses sent by the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, to Cambodian military. The other 100,000 doses are from RCSC, with the Cambodian Red Cross, or CRC, the intended recipients. The military-to-military COVID-19 vaccine donation is the third such shipment arranged between the two countries' armed forces since the pandemic began. Minister of National Defense T. Ban and Chinese Ambassador to Cambodia Wang Wentian were on hand for the vaccine arrivals at Phnom Penh International Airport on August 23. As of August 23, a total of 22.2 million doses of vaccines had been provided by China to Cambodia through purchases and donations.
Back here in Manila, the Department of Education reported that 249,765 learners so far have enrolled in public schools nationwide for academic year 2021-2022. The DepEd's Learner Information System Quick Counts logged 2,692,438 learners enrolled since August 16 and 4,557,327 during the early registration as of June 2. Registration will run until September 13, the first day of the school year, that will use blended learning. Physical classes remain suspended due to the pandemic.
A layer of green foliage blankets a red tower in the heart of Singapore's business district, a feature that helps keeps the building cool as the densely populated tropical city battles rising temperatures. The Oasia Hotel downtown in the heart of Singapore's business district was designed to stay cool with the help of more than 20 species of creeping plants growing on its bright red aluminum facade. Let's take a look.
Building facade gets heated up to as much as 45 degrees Celsius. And when we measured Oasia, the temperature reading at noontime, it's about 25 to 35 degrees. So in a way, greening on the envelope is a very cost-effective and yet passive means of keeping a building cool. This living tower that you see here is an effort to soften the hardness of cities, as well as to bring back landscaping, gardens, and biodiversity back to the city.
Most buildings, about a third of their emissions from their life cycle comes from the building process. But in Singapore, it could be up to as high as 40% because buildings in Singapore, they don't stand, like the lifespan is a lot shorter compared to other countries. So I think extending the lifespan of buildings in Singapore should also be a priority.
As always, thank you very much, Esther, for keeping me company here today on ASEAN in Focus.
And always my pleasure, Alma. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Esther Odanga from ABC Thailand Bureau, and we live in interesting times.
I'm Alma Angeles. We'll see you back tomorrow. We live in interesting times.